My first question for you,
Uh,
would you like to be addressed as chairman or city council member or?
City council member is fine. That works for me.
Okay.
I'm easy going. Oh, Justin's fine too. So whatever works works.
Okay, cool. Nice. Very nice. Um, my first question is, do you have any thoughts and experiences that or background that you would like to share?
Well, I'll tell you my political background a little bit. I
Please do.
ran for city council years ago when I was 18, right out of high school, and did not get elected to that. And then I tried again, and things did not work out for that. So I took a little break from politics for a few years. And then in 2008, I was elected chairman of the Republican Party and locally, and I've had that position the last 12 years. So I've been doing it a long time. For one of the longest serving party chairs on the Republican side in this area of Ohio. I don't know about the Democratic side. And in 2017, I was elected to Fremont City Council and will be seeking a second term in 2021. So I've been involved in that. I have a degree in social studies education from Heidelberg University and work as a substitute teacher right now over at Clyde High School. So
Im-
that's basically my.
Impressive. Impressive.
Well, I've been doing this for a long time. I started out as a young. I've always been interested in politics. So since I was I memorized the presidents when I was 7 years old, and the rest is history. So
Cool. Cool. Very nice. My first question for you, Justin, is what are your thoughts about ranked choice voting?
I'm gonna be honest with you. I do not know a lot about it. From what I've read on it, I'd have to see studies before I'd commit one way or the other. I think we have a pretty good system for the most part. It's not perfect. No countries is, but I'm happy with our system. But I'm not going to say I'm against ranked system voting. I just do not know enough about it. I've seen it. I believe it's like when you rank your first choice and your second choice and your third choice. I've seen a little bit, but I would not consider myself educated enough to take a position on it one way or the other.
Fair enough. Fair enough. What are your thoughts? My second question for you is: what are your thoughts and experiences first with local and state referendums or initiatives or recalls? And then the third part of the question is, what are your thoughts on national? If we adapt it on the national level.
Well, there is. Ohio is pretty friendly about referendums, really. I mean, in the city of Fremont had two referendums in the last 5 years. One with the Bonneville Dam, and the other was with the Mulberry Street project. So, I think it's doable to get a referendum on the ballot in Ohio. It's been proven to be done twice in the last 5 years, and I think that's a good thing. I think citizens should have the right, if they have an issue they don't agree with, try to address it. If their legislators don't do anything to stop it, then that's probably least let the voters decide. I don't have a problem with that as long as the proper paperwork is done and things like that. In order to get a referendum in Ohio, I believe you have to have a certain. I believe you have to have a certain percentage of signatures, and and I believe you have to have like 10% of who voted in the last gubernatorial election. Hold on one second.
No worries. No problem.
I'm doing back, excuse me. So
No
anyway,
worries.
10%, I believe you have to get signatures from the last gubernatorial election,
Yeah.
I believe, or something like that. So I've seen it done locally twice. I've seen state issues. There was a smoking issue, I think, in 2006 that was brought on the ballot. So I've seen it done locally in state. I don't know about national. I don't think I've ever seen it done national.
Yeah. We currently don't have any procedures in place for it nationally. I think we need a constitutional amendment to make it happen nationally, which well, I mean, it does sound like a lot, in my opinion, to get a constitutional amendment. But at one time in our history, we did ban the sale of alcohol, which,
Yes, that's correct.
yeah,
Then they repealed it.
exactly. About 10 years later, yes, yes, exactly. Um, my third question for you, Justin, is what is your opinion and experiences with universal term limits? Which universal term limits that's like the Supreme Court having term limits, Congress
I,
members having term limits.
I'm personally not a big term limit person. I mean, there are term limits in Ohio. I believe voting is, you can vote somebody out. I agree it's tough to vote out an incumbent, but it's not impossible. I mean, it's been done before. It's been done locally. It's been done state. It's been done nationally. So I'm not in favor of term limits. I mean, I could maybe, the Supreme Court should maybe have a limit, or judges should maybe have a limit. Because in Ohio, you can't be a judge past 70 years of age in Ohio. So I can maybe see it at the court level, but I'm a big believer that the voters have the choice. If they want you out, if the voters are not happy with me after 8 years in the city government, they have a right to vote me out at any time. So I think term limits actually take away the right of people to vote.
All right.
That's my philosophy.
All right. Yeah.
Actually, believe it or not, I could support with the presidency. I think I'd support 8 years and then you can come back. I think he should be able to come back.
Yeah.
I think both Clinton, Bush, or Obama, any of them should be able to come back after they sit out for 4 years. That's my philosophy of the presidency.
Oh.
But the presidency right now, it's unique. You have 8 years, you can be president, and then Congress, you have unlimited time. So it's kind of unique how that.
Yeah. Yeah. FDR was the one. He won 4 consecutive, which I'm sure you might. Yeah, 4 consecutive elections, and then they passed that constitutional amendment saying, 2 is the limit, or 8 years total.
Yeah, 8 years total.
Yeah.
So I mean, if somebody would like, LBJ could have won again in '68 because he didn't get into Kennedy. He got into Kennedy's term in '63.
Mm-hmm.
So LBJ technically could have done a '68, but he chose not to.
Yeah, and maybe Truman as well.
Truman might have been, because that was before the amendment was passed.
Yeah.
He probably could have. But
yeah. It's a very, very interesting topic for sure. The second part of that question is, what are your thoughts about the Supreme Court instead of being appointed, about them being elected?
Well, that's the way it is in Ohio. I mean, I think in a way that I could see benefits of that. That's something I could support. I'd have to investigate it and see how it goes. I'm not opposed to it. I think the only negative of that, there's one negative, is the positive would be to be allowed the people to decide. The negative would be to give too much power to the president, no matter who the president is. I mean, the way we do it now, the appointment goes to the president, and that gives them a little bit of power. So that's a pro of why to do it. But the negative of why to have elections would be it would turn it into a political race.
Yeah.
I mean, you'd have to go out and raise money and do all the things that people don't like about politics that the justices don't have to do now, they would have to do.
That brings me to my next question is, what is your thoughts and opinions or experiences with government-funded elections, taking out the big money and just having it with taxpayer money?
I would be opposed to that. I think right now I could support limits on how much people spend. And I'm very much for public disclosure, which Ohio already does. You can look up any local, state, national politician and see who gives them money. I don't like the idea of taxpayer-funded elections. I just don't think the taxpayers should have to give money to a campaign that you may not agree with. That's my
Yeah.
We all have opinions, and I don't want to pay my taxpayer money to give money to candidates I may not agree with, and vice versa, the people who don't agree with my candidates. So I'm not in favor of taxpayer-funded elections.
Okay.
I am in favor of disclosure, and I think the state of Ohio does an excellent job. And that's one thing in this heated presidential election, I think everybody can be proud of Ohio, is Ohio has a bipartisan election process. I used to be on the Board of Elections, and the Republicans keep an eye on the Democrats, and Democrats keep an eye on the Republicans, and vice versa. In order for there to be any election fraud in Ohio, it sounds negative, but both parties would have to go in on it, and it'd have to be and that's the positive. We have Republicans checking Democrats, Democrats checking Republicans, and I think overall Ohio is at one of the top states in the nation when it comes to running elections, and even when it comes to campaign finances. Everybody knocks down Ohio in some things, but I think we do very well in others.
Yeah, very, very purple state. Very,
yes,
very
that's
purple.
true. Yeah.
My next question for you, Justin, is what are your thoughts about gerrymandering?
I'm not crazy about gerrymandering. I think if you could come up, I think you need to come up with fair, compact districts. Not so much, but here's where it gets tricky. Gerrymandering is not just Republican Democrats. When you get in, like if you have to get a district that's 50% R, 50% D, whatever, that's gerrymandering too, because
Hmm.
you're making boundaries based on what people vote. I believe in trying to have the districts compact like Sandusky and Seneca or Sandusky and area, whatever, the counties should be close together, not far apart. And they shouldn't be like zigzags.
Hmm.
They should be compact. And it shouldn't be based on whether you're 50% R, 50% D. It should be what counties have a lot in common. And Sandusky and Seneca do have a lot in common. Fremont and Tiffin have a lot of similarities. And I think the state House and state Senate districts are pretty fair. I really do.
Hmm.
Congress, you can get in the argument that's gerrymandering. That's been going on for years. So I'm not a big favor and supporter of gerrymandering. I would rather have more compact districts. And I mean, I'm against gerrymandering. I'm against Republicans doing it. I'm against Democrats doing it. And I'm against the process of doing it to have equal too, because that's gerrymandering too when you're creating districts that have equal. Just
Hmm.
have them by the neighbors where they live and where like Fremont and Tiffin have a lot in common. We can meet together and we can have our Congress people together. If you put us in a district with Bucyrus, we don't have much in common with Bucyrus. It's quite a ways away from us, things like that. So you need to kind of keep them compact.
Certainly. Um, and my next question is, what is your thoughts about the Electoral College? Are you for or against it?
I'm for it because there's only been four, let me count this, 1824, 1876, 1888, 2000, 2016. So you look at it, how the big deal over the Electoral College and it's only went 5 times as it went the way against the popular vote. Biden is going to win the Electoral College and he's going to win the popular vote. So it was wrong 5 times. So I can't see changing a system where most of the time the winner of the popular vote wins the Electoral College. That's
Okay.
proven overwhelming majority, except John Quincy Adams in 1824, Fremont's very own Rutherford B. Hayes, and Benjamin Harrison, George Bush, and Donald Trump. Only 5 times.
Yeah. And my last question is, let me just make sure it's my last question.
All right.
What are your thoughts on a, general strike?
Now that you're gonna have to explain to me. I do
A
not
general
know.
strike, that's pretty much in order to get the big wigs everywhere. As what Bernie Sanders called the 1%, the top 1%, or um, the wealthy and powerful, to get them to help the people. Everyone stays home from work for a day or longer to get their attention and get them listening. That's basically the general premise of a general strike, as is in other countries.
I'm not really a big believer in that. I think we have a duty to kind of. I'd rather send letters, make your phone calls, do your social media posts, whatever you need to do to get in touch with your government. I'd rather do that than disrupt the economy and disrupt the livelihoods of a lot of people.
Yeah.
No, I'm not a big believer in that.
All right. All right. I want to thank you for coming on.
Well,
For
thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, this was very nice, very pleasant conversation.
Well, I'm a big believer. You don't always, I think this is what's wrong with politics in America. You can agree to disagree. And I've always, I'm a staunch Republican, but I've always been a big believer that you talk to everybody and try to come up with a compromise situation. And if you look at
Absolutely.
my city council record, you would see that it's pretty bipartisan. So I have a history of working with both sides. So
Very,
I
very
was on
cool.
Board of Elections in Ohio, and as we discussed earlier, everything there is 50% R, 50% D. So in order to get
Yeah,
anything done at the Board of Elections, you have to work with Democrats. So I think
very
we need
cool.
to have more working together and doing things.
That's awesome. That really is cool.
Yeah.
That, in my opinion, that's amazing. Really, seriously. Yeah. Anytime you like to come back on, you're more than welcome.
Okay.
This is very nice. And if there's anything else you'd like to add with anything.
Well, I just I'm proud of Fremont, and I think we're doing things well in Fremont. Things are moving along in the right direction. I mean, uh, it's been a challenging year for all of us, but I think overall things are going well in Fremont, and I'm proud of that. So 2021 can hopefully be better for.
Yeah,
Uh,
I'm sure everyone's looking forward to this New Year's Eve.
yeah, absolutely. I just hope to get back to some normalcy. That's what I miss the days of not
Yeah.
being able to do things.
Yeah,
So
we're instead of well, which I mean, Zoom. We're on Zoom right now. Like in
yeah,
my
that's
opinion, it has its benefits, but like if you're across the country, but me and you, we're in the same county.
yeah.
So like instead of like going through Zoom like this, we would be at a park or something, or
Exactly.
yeah,
I like that idea. I'm a more personable thing. I think you need to have that conversation in person, and hopefully we can get back to some of that things in 2021. Uh, I have it'll be a re-election year for me, so hopefully I can go out and meet the constituents and talk to them and do all that good stuff. So hoping
yeah.
for the best.
And I just want to add that I most likely will be staying out of all like just because my own personal the decision. Like I'm planning on unless it's an issue that's really near and dear and close to me, or unless well if it's like another referendum or initiative or a recall, which I don't know if we even have recalls on the local level
There,
of
I don't see a weak house pretty different, but yeah, I don't see any. There's no issues coming up that I could see. I don't know. I don't see any issues of great controversy.
Yeah, I just want to add that, like, I'm probably not gonna, and this is not just locally, but statewide, regionally, and nationally. I anticipate I'm not planning on, at least at this moment, I'm not anticipating getting as enthusiastic or passionate or excited about candidates in particular. Just because, in my opinion, like it has to be like a better system overall. I'm not saying our system is horrible right now. I'm just saying is I like to see improve.
I respect that. That's
Yeah,
you gotta do what you believe in. That's what it's all about.
exactly. And once again, thank you for chatting. And I'll keep you in mind for future interviews if you're available.
Well,
And
thank you. I would be glad to help, and good luck. Keep doing good things and keep doing what you believe in. That's important.
thank you so much. You have a good
All
night,
right.
Justin.
You too. Thank you.